Hey everyone, thanks for being here. Today we're tackling a serious but necessary topic: how artificial intelligence and other technologies are reshaping the landscape of sex addiction and compulsive sexual behavior, what's actually happening to real people, what the evidence says, and how we can protect mental health and relationships without falling into moral panic. Quick note before we start: subscribe, drop a like if you value honest, evidence-based content, and keep comments respectful. This video is for education only and does not replace professional medical or therapeutic advice. Let's start with language, because words matter. Sex addiction is common in everyday talk, but the clinical label recognized by the World Health Organization in the ICD-11 is Compulsive Sexual Behavior Disorder, a pattern of repetitive sexual behaviors that feel hard to control, persist for at least several months, and cause significant distress or life problems. In practice, this is treated as an impulse control disorder, not a moral failing. The DSM-5-TR in the US still doesn't list sex addiction as a standalone diagnosis, so clinicians focus on impaired control and harm, not just high libido. Where does technology enter the picture? The classic internet trio, accessibility, anonymity, affordability, now gets supercharged by recommender algorithms and 24/7 mobile access. AI adds a fourth A: adaptability. It learns your clicks, your timing, your cravings, and serves an endless tailored stream of stimuli. That personalization can tip some users from high use into patterns that feel compulsive. Let's talk about AI companions, the chatbots that feel caring, flirty, or intimate. Research shows that well-designed AI companions can reduce loneliness and make people feel heard in the short run, which can be genuinely helpful for some. But the flip side is dependency. When the bot is always available, always validating, and always exciting, some users shift time, attention, and intimacy away from offline life and toward a screen, which can increase isolation and conflict in real relationships. Harvard Business School, now virtual reality. VR boosts presence, that feeling that you're truly there, and several studies indicate it can heighten arousal compared with traditional 2D viewing. That can be useful in some therapeutic contexts, but for people already vulnerable to compulsive patterns, the combination of novelty and immersion can deepen the habit loop and make stopping harder. There's also a booming AI-augmented sexual economy. Commercial platforms are weaving in bots that carry on erotic chats at scale, sometimes indistinguishable from humans. For users, the illusion of reciprocity can intensify reward cycles: more replies, more spending, more time. For human creators, it creates pressure to automate and raises thorny questions about authenticity and consent. We'll come back to ethics and policy in a minute. A critical darker frontier: deepfake sexual images and sextortion. Generative tools can fabricate sexual content of a person without consent, with devastating impacts on mental health and reputation. Law enforcement has warned of rising sextortion cases, including against minors, and reporting has documented surging takedown requests and lawsuits against undressing sites. New laws are emerging to curb non-consensual intimate images and require faster removals, but enforcement and safeguards are still evolving. Let's pause on ethics and rights. Consent isn't just yes or no. It's informed, freely given, and revocable. With AI, consent now covers biometrics, voice clones, and digital twins. If your likeness can be sexualized without permission, how do we protect autonomy? The answer isn't only filters, it's stronger laws, safer design choices, transparent labeling of AI-generated media, and easy, effective reporting pathways for victims. Back to the clinical picture: red flags that point to a problematic pattern. You're losing control over time spent. You keep going despite clear harm: relationship conflict, slipping work or school performance, money problems. You escalate frequency or intensity to get the same effect. Attempts to cut back trigger distress or anxiety, and sex or sexual media becomes a go-to tool to regulate boredom, loneliness, or stress, but relief is short-lived. What does the evidence say about treatment? The best supported approach is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, individual or group, focused on triggers, beliefs, behaviors, and relapse prevention skills. Controlled trials and reviews show symptom reductions and functional improvement, and digital CBT variants are emerging as useful supports for some people. This isn't about moral judgment, it's about building skills to regain control. Not everything is individual therapy. Couples work can rebuild trust and boundaries. Peer support groups help many people sustain change. If depression, anxiety, ADHD, or trauma are present, they need parallel treatment because unaddressed comorbidities increase the risk of relapse. Talk to a licensed professional who understands CSBD and problematic porn use. Let's make this practical. Step 1 is map your triggers. Time of day, emotions, specific apps or sites, the content that starts the spiral. Step 2 is shape your environment. Device blockers, allow lists, and screen-free windows. This isn't about shame, it's about reducing friction when you're vulnerable. Step 3 is swap the reward. Short bouts of movement, quick tasks that create a sense of progress, or connecting with a friend. Step 4 is urge tolerance skills. Breathing, urge surfing, delaying 50 minutes and reassessing. Step 5 is relationship agreements. Clear rules for digital transparency, privacy, check-ins, and quality time. Parents and teens need a special mention. Early conversations about consent, respect, and the difference between fantasy and reality do far more good than silence. Parental controls won't replace dialogue, but they do reduce incidental exposure and narrow windows of risk. If there are signs of grooming or sextortion, report it and get professional help. Collect evidence, don't negotiate with perpetrators, and involve authorities quickly. Federal Bureau of Investigation. On policy and platform design, 3 things matter right now. First, robust provenance signals and watermarking for AI-generated media, plus rapid takedown pathways for non-consensual content. Second, safety by design for effective and erotic apps, real age checks, consistent filtering, ethical telemetry, and independent security audits. Third, public education that moves beyond taboo into real digital and emotional literacy. Lawsuits and new legislation are pushing the space, but we need industry standards that actually work in practice. A quick word on sex robots and connected devices. Could they help in some therapeutic scenarios, or do they risk further objectification and empathy gaps? There aren't simple answers yet. What's clearly responsible is demanding privacy and cybersecurity by default, rejecting designs that encourage non-consensual dynamics, and studying real-world outcomes instead of assuming benefits or harms. Let's bring this back to you. If you recognize yourself in these patterns, that doesn't define you, and asking for help is strength. A solid first step is a clinical evaluation with someone familiar with CSBD and technology-related compulsive behaviors. Good treatment plans are personalized, data-informed, and flexible. Clear goals, regular progress checks, and adjustments when something isn't working. For partners and loved ones, 3 ideas can help. Validate feelings without endorsing harmful behavior. Set clear boundaries that protect your emotional and financial safety. And practice self-care, therapy, support networks, and activities that keep you well because you can't pour from an empty cup. Here's a balanced takeaway. AI and modern tech can expand connection, education, and access to help. They can also amplify vulnerabilities when infinite novelty and hyper-personalization collide with a business model that monetizes attention. Our goal isn't to demonize technology, it's to align design with evidence so it serves health instead of undermining it. This isn't about punishment or guilt, it's about freedom to choose, more honest relationships, and sustainable well-being. If this video helped, hit like and share it with someone who might need it. In the comments, tell me, what digital boundaries have actually worked for you, and where should regulation go next? Check the description for resources, helplines, and the key papers we referenced. I'm Jonathan, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.